What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys the consultant cheat codes that are going to help you get that promotion, a bigger performance bonus. It's going to help you get on the best projects that you want to get on. Now, the first thing is going to be delivering results. This is related to working, right? It's not, some people like to describe it as working hard, but it's not really working hard. It's getting things done. That is how the firm gets paid. So if you're on an engagement or a project and the team is saying that you need to have this many things completed by the end of the day, the end of the week, find a way to get it done. Work late if you have to, work on the weekends if you have to, right? You have to be able to deliver, right? So a lot of people like to, work really hard and try to fix every little thing. And like people that are perfectionists, right? They want to fix everything, and at the end of the day, they don't have enough time to meet the deadline. And this is going to piss off the management, right? That's managing the project. This is also going to piss off the client because you don't have results for them, right? So you have to be able to deliver. Sometimes you might rush it. It doesn't have to be accurate. This is something that nobody's going to tell you, right? Because sometimes, it's natural to want to get things right and, make them perfect. But when there's deadlines and a lot of work, you have to deliver results. The worst thing that can happen is you're going to get an email that says, hey, please fix this, right? Because your work, if you're maybe a staff one or staff two or maybe analyst one level consultant, your work is going to be reviewed by a QC team, right? A quality control team. And if they see something that doesn't make sense, really, they're going to say, hey, can you fix this, this, and that? I think that is one of the most important things that you have to drill into your head. Get it done before the deadline, right? Because if you don't, it's going to piss off a whole lot of people. You don't want it to get to the partner, right? Like, why is this late? You don't want that. Now, the next thing is going to be making sure that the right people know that you are working really hard. So if you're working on a project, right, let's say we're on an engagement and I'm taking on extra work and, I'm getting, I finish my work and then I ask if anyone needs help, things like that. So if you just do those things quietly by yourself, you're not going to get the recognition for it. And for the most part, to be honest, a lot of senior consultants or like people that are in leadership positions, they usually take the credit, right? They're not going to say, oh, you did this or you did that. They're just going to take the credit. My team finished this, right? You're never going to get the name recognition. So one of the things that I found that actually work is going to be asking a lot of questions. So let's say that I took on a little extra work, and what I would do is I'll go in our team's group chat, our project chat, and ask questions specific to that, so people know that I'm working on that, right? So these chats or meeting rooms usually have the senior management or maybe a team lead. These are the people that you want to make sure that they know that you're working on extra stuff or you're working late. And also one of the tricks that I was using is, at the end of the day, let's say we're supposed to finish around 7 p.m. at night and I'm working on a project. What I would do is I would just message maybe a manager, right? My direct manager, like, hey, is it okay if I work a couple more hours on this? Now, the first thing they're going to do in the morning is ask, hey, were you able to get some work done? So this way, you're not saying, hey, I'm working on this. You're kind of like, letting them know this is what you're working on. Or if you go back to the asking questions thing, you're asking questions about a specific thing, it's gonna register in their head, okay, he's working on this. If your name constantly pops up and it's connected to these different types of work or projects and things like that, that's going to let them know that you're actually working. And this is different from just doing the work quietly and not even asking questions because you think you know everything. Now, the next one, I think it's also really important, which is networking. So in consulting, it's all about who you know. I think one of the best ways that a manager described consulting to me was it's going to be what you make it, right? So in terms of, in order to make it a great experience for yourself, it's going to be you have to network. You got to know the right people. And networking is, a lot of people like to say that, I'm going to go network with a partner or maybe a senior manager or a managing director. Don't do that, please. They don't want to talk to you. If you're a staff one, senior analyst, they don't have time to talk to you. They want to go to meetings. They want to, close some deals and stuff. They don't want to talk to you. They don't have time. Don't even put time on their calendar. But the people that you need to network with are the senior consultants. They are the managers, right? Like the new managers, maybe a senior manager as well. So if you are in an engagement, right, you're in a project, you usually have a couple managers, managing director, and you have a partner at the top, and you have a bunch of staff level consultants. Now, the people you want to network with are going to be the senior consultants. Those are the ones that are usually the team lead or those are the ones that are usually talking directly to the, to the managers and partners. Those are the ones that are directly talking to the client. You want to make sure that you're networking with the senior consultants and the managers. And how do you do this? You volunteer to do the things that no one wants to do. I'll give you a solid example. I was on a project, and the senior consultant was going on vacation, and she was asking if anyone in the team would like to keep track of the team's progress and be able to update the leadership throughout the day and at the end of the day. So this is extra work that is going to take time out of your day to complete the things you're supposed to complete. So no one wants to do that. You know what I did? I volunteered. I said I would do it, and then I did it for about a week or so. But then after that project, we had performance reviews, and I requested that she did my review since I was working with her. She was directly someone who was managing me or supervising me. I got a really good review, and some of the things that she added in there was, I was able to take on extra work and support the team. So my whole point is, when you provide value to people, that is the best way to network, because you're not just asking for them to be in your network, but if you provide value to them, they're going to provide value back to you, and that is how you really network. So that was the whole thing for me. This is just one example. I've done this a couple times, and I get really good performance reviews, which translate into a bigger bonus. And then one of the cool things is, when you network with these senior consultants and managers, they're going to be, once the project is over, they're going to other projects, they're exploring a bunch of other projects, and they can literally say, we want to work with this person. They can pick me like, hey, we worked with Nash on this last project. We think it'd be great for this project. They might be looking at 5 different projects, right? And they're trying to put teams together. Now, they might say, hey, Nash, which one would you want to work on here? What team would you want to join? Now I have options. I can get on the cool projects that everyone wants to get on. I don't have to go on projects that are boring and long and just exhausting. I can go on the cool projects. Imagine if you had 5 of these connections, right? And you know that they're always looking at projects, looking to staff those projects, and you've networked with them because you provided value. Now, they're going to reward you with adding you to those cool projects. Now, the next one is going to be using your resources. One thing I've noticed is that, in consulting, especially Big Four, there's a lot of resources that are handed to you, but they're not put in your face like, hey, you need to do this today. Nobody's going to baby you. Like I said before, it's going to be what you make it. So in consulting, you usually have a talent consultant. That's going to be someone that's responsible for your talent and making sure that, you have enough opportunities in terms of projects and things like that. You also have maybe a resourcing manager. That's the one that's actually going to staff you into these different projects, right, that are aligned with your talent or your skills. And then you also have the counselor, right? This is the most important person that you're gonna have in Big Four consulting. So this is gonna be kind of like your older brother or older sister, right? You can ask them. You can talk personal life. You can talk about work life, your goals, how they can help you. It's usually someone that's been working for the firm for a little while. Usually a senior consultant, maybe a manager, right? I remember I used to have a manager as a counselor. Now I have a senior consultant as a counselor. I would say that the most important person out of these people, right? You might have more or less. It's gonna be your counselor. This is gonna be the person that's going to speak for you, right? If you are trying to maybe switch practices, that's going to be the person that's going to speak on your behalf, right? Because this person is a senior consultant, so they can talk to managers. They have, they're kind of like they have more credibility than you. So if you were, I remember, I'll give you a solid example. I was reaching out to, I think it was some manager. Then they didn't respond to me for like 2 days. You know what I did? I told my counselor. The next day, just responded to me like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry about this." So this person is going to be the person that's going to help you navigate, like if you have any questions or anything like that. Sometimes it might feel like you're putting on too much on someone's plate, but that person is also getting a bigger bonus simply because they're taking on extra work as a counselor, right? So that is their job. And one of the things that I've noticed is with most counselors, they're not going to push their help on you. They're not going to force you to ask them questions or open up to you. It's up to you to be able to be, to advocate for yourself. Now, one thing I would say is, do not be afraid to switch counselors, right? If your Big Four firm has counselors, don't be afraid to switch them, simply because some counselors are just, they have their own work rather than counseling you. Some counselors are not going to reach out to you, or sometimes they might be a little dismissive simply because maybe they might be busy working on a project and you're asking maybe personal questions and stuff like that. So do not be afraid to switch them. I know the firms allow you to just, go log into a system, request change, and you get a new counselor. And I'm pretty sure that none of them take it personally because it happens a lot. Now, the next one goes back to the networking part. So one of the things is if you're working on a project, right, and you're doing really well, you're volunteering to do the little work. Usually, if you're on an engagement, they usually do, a shout out to Nash this week for completing this and that. They usually do that, in most projects. Now you want to make sure that you get the most shout outs. If you're doing a good job, you're gonna be getting those a lot. Now, once the project is over, right? You want to be able to stay in touch with the team leads, the senior consultants, the managers, the decision makers. Those are the people you want to stay in touch with. Sometimes, if they like you enough, they'll just message you, hey, stay in touch. Or you have to message them, hey, stay in touch. Let me add you on LinkedIn. Having a LinkedIn is very important. That is how you're going to be able to network with them. Just send them a quick email, saying that you appreciated working on the project with them. You hope to work with them in the future. And that is going to put you on their radar when they're looking for talent to staff a project. Now, the last one is going to be doing the internal stuff, right? So working as a consultant, sometimes it's like you go from project to project to project to project, but sometimes you're in between projects, right? You're waiting for the project to start. You just finished one, you have some free time. Please do internal stuff. This includes volunteering. Maybe you're mentoring high school students, right? Some big four firms have programs that do that. Or maybe you're doing campus recruiting, right? Or big four firms do a lot of campus recruiting. When it comes to time for reviews, one of the things that you can do is advocate for yourself, right? So before someone writes a review for me, right? Maybe I worked with them on a project, they were managing me on a project or supervising me on a project, and I reach out to them to write a review on me. They don't know everything about me. So one of the things that a lot of these managers do is like they ask you to write the review for yourself, right? And this is going to help them know kind of like everything that you've been doing. Now, if you haven't done any of these things and you're just chilling on the bench, maybe watching Netflix, which we all do, you're not going to be able to say that that's what you were doing. But if you volunteer, if you do all these internal things, these are things that you can add to your review. Maybe for this cycle, you're only on one project and then you're on the bench the rest of the cycle. And, they're going to be like, so what were you doing with your free time, right? So you want to be able to say that, you volunteered on this, and that. You have, done campus recruiting in order to grow your practice. You have, so a lot of consultants like to focus only on the project performance, which is great. But if you want to get a bigger performance bonus, do internal stuff like volunteering. Those are the things that are going to help you advocate for yourself. It shows that you're actually involved. All right, so that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.